another Friday edition of Wasatch Weekends. We love getting to be here for you every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday starting at 7 a.m. to give you all the great information about what's taking place here in our wonderful community. I'm your host, Maddie Evans, and we've got a great show in store for you for the next little bit, especially because if you're looking for something fun to do this weekend, well then you can get out there and you can enjoy Park City Film as they're presenting Emily this weekend. And then they're talking about some other exciting events that they've got coming up, and I love to see all that they do. Don't forget to bring your own bowl as you go celebrate the incredible arts and film community that we have here in Park City, because it's so wonderful to get to enjoy all of it, and especially since Sundance has now happened a little ways ago, and so it's nice to just relive some of those beautiful moments. Like I said, we've got a good show in store for you for the next little bit. It is almost April. I cannot believe it. The ski season has absolutely flown by. But speaking of ski seasons, we get to celebrate a little bit longer this year on Park City Mountain because it is one of the longest seasons that they've had since the early 90s. So if you're like kind of getting a little bit sad that ski season is winding down, well, you don't need to be, because we've got quite a bit of time left for you to get out there and enjoy all of our wonderful mountains. Now, we hope that you do just that, but let's take a look at the local weather forecast and see what's taking place here in our community.
This resort report is brought to you by Sun and Ski Sports, your new mountain sports headquarters.
Looking to do something nice and fun and kind of relaxing this weekend? Well, then Park City Film has got you covered, and I'm here with Katy Wang. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us.
Of course, always happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
I love having you here, and especially because you guys bring in such incredible films. So this weekend you're presenting Emily.
Yes, and this is one of my favorite authors, so I am thrilled to be showing this film. Emily is about the life, kind of a reimagining of the life and the genius and just really the kind of, imitability of Emily Bronte. And it takes place later on in her life as she's starting to write Wuthering Heights, and just kind of reimagines how this story came to be. I mean, it's such a departure from this very kind of conservative life that she led. She had a very religious family, kind of very strict upbringing, and she was just the outlier. So when you imagine Wuthering Heights, right, this beautiful romance between Catherine and Heathcliff and all of the drama that ensues in that tale, to imagine it coming from this place of kind of, this very small, seemingly small life, it's almost unimaginable. So the film does such a great job of just kind of getting into her inner mind and psyche and just how something like this could be created. Unfortunately, it was her only book that she ever wrote. She wrote lots of short stories, but just to have this one kind of culminating piece is quite a testament to the power of her imagination. So it's a thrill to kind of get inside that in the film this weekend.
But you guys do such a good job of bringing in these films that are not only totally fascinating to everyone, because everyone can relate somehow, but also give you this inside look at incredible people. Like, you just showed one that kind of gave you a more inside look of the one and only Steven Spielberg, into his childhood, into his life in filmmaking. And then, of course, Wuthering Heights is well known across many places in this world. And to have this kind of different perspective as you're reading Wuthering Heights, or if you've already read it, to have that is so cool. And it's so cool what you can learn from coming to Park City Film.
Absolutely. And it's just, literature is timeless in so many ways, but often these classic stories get left by the wayside for newer stories, which is great. I mean, that's the evolution of art, certainly. But just to get into the creative mind of some of these geniuses, whether it's Steven Spielberg with film or Emily Bronte and her sisters, certainly were all, incredibly talented. But what does it take to be that person, right? And as you said, there's this kind of relatability for all of us But also it gives you that power to imagine a life bigger than the one that you have, right? Certainly with the past few years where we've been stuck confined under COVID, people felt the world was very, very small. But even within those small confines, we're seeing an enormous amount of creativity coming out of that. So it's exciting to be part of the reopening of cinemas as new stories are starting to be shared and told and created and coming back into the big screen. It's all part of that process of connecting us back to each other. And what a great way to do that through these stories that are so iconic, but again, timeless at the same time.
Which is the coolest part about what you guys do, and you guys make sure that you do it all year long. Park City is known for its incredible film festivals and really bringing the arts to life, but this is something that people can participate with you guys all year.
Yes, absolutely. And so we are actually planning, it's great that you mentioned that, but planning what we're doing for the summer season. We're playing lots of pop-up screenings on the east side of the county, just getting people out and about. Out under the stars, watching movies. And so we mix it up a little bit in the summer months, but absolutely, it's something that we like to do year round and engage with our community of film lovers and storytellers and just create another way to engage and share and, be entertained in many ways.
Movies Under the Stars sounds like the most perfect date I have ever heard of in my entire life.
Yeah, it's definitely very fun. It gets a little cold at night, but we use LED screens for some of our performances. And so you can start before dark, which is nice, but definitely an opportunity to cuddle up. It won't be quite as cold as it is now. I think it's probably 25 degrees outside currently, as we call it, spring here in Park City. But yeah, it'll be a little bit warmer in the summer months. So.
And the stars up in Park City are so incredible, and it's just so much fun to have this opportunity to have you guys here in our community. And you guys also offer a great support system so people can get involved with you as a nonprofit here in the community as well.
Absolutely. And so next week, actually, speaking of partnerships, we're partnering with the Park City Museum to show a special screening of the film Crip Camp. So after you see Emily this weekend and get all excited about Emily Bronte and Wuthering Heights, next week we'll have another way to engage with the history of the United States. And this is Crip Camp was at the 2020 Sundance Film Festival, it won the Audience Award. And it's a documentary about the history of the disability rights movement, which was really interestingly sparked by a group of individuals that met at a camp in the Catskills called Camp Jeanette for the handicapped, as they called them then. But really, it was just reimagining what life could be like as a disabled person and allowing them to think bigger than the world that they were, told that they had to live in. What were the confines? And so as we come up on the 30th anniversary of the passing of the Americans with Disabilities Act, what a great way to celebrate with the showing of this film. And as we're partnering with Park City Museum, they have an exhibit, a traveling exhibit in their space right now called Patient No More, which is also about the disability rights movement. So just a great pairing to look at it in the written form and to see it on the screen and to hear from some of these activists, one of whom just passed away, one of the leaders of the disability rights movement a couple of weeks ago. But what a great way to celebrate and commemorate and share these timeless stories that bring us together, certainly as a people, but also as a country as well. So lots of different ways to kind of engage people, get involved with our community. And then certainly we always have volunteers that help support what we do as well, but really kind of expanding that reach into how we support other nonprofits and other storytellers within our community.
Which is such a great opportunity for people to be involved in. What a cool story that you guys are going to be doing with the Park City Museum, and what a unique way to take a look back in history and also change your perspective, because it's not something that everyone thinks about on the daily, right? How the Disability Act had to pass as if it was some kind of separation and segregation between people who, at the time, they did refer to them as handicapped, lived this life that was so confined, and now they have so much more freedom to be as they please.
Absolutely. And to think that it was only 30 years ago, I mean, that's certainly within my lifetime, that it's a little bit shocking to think that, not so long ago, that there were no such thing as curb cuts. There were no handicap spots, wheelchair accessible theaters like we have at Park City Film, that was an anomaly. Whereas now it's just, it's how you have to do business, because why would you do otherwise? Why wouldn't you make your space accessible to as many people as possible in your community, whatever their abilities? And, so it's just kind of amazing to see how in a very short time, how much the world has changed. Certainly there's still some more work to be done, but absolutely, we want to make sure that everyone has the ability to live life to the fullest, wherever they are.
And you guys help people do that there in Park City to really show the love of the arts and show what you guys do in the community. And we love you as a part of the community only because I think it's so cool the way that you can bring people together, start these discussions, and then partner up with people like the Park City Museum to really bring this to life in a way that is going to help people understand a little bit more.
Absolutely. And it's really fun, of course, to engage in different ways with different nonprofit organizations, different audiences. And just, start those conversations. It's so important. That's how change is made. That's how history stays alive, and certainly how communities come together.
And that's something that people can get involved in your website. So if maybe there's a business in Park City listening right now that wants to partner up with you guys and bring something to life, is that something that's possible?
Yes, absolutely. So if you go to parkcityfilm.org, of course, you can find out about all the screenings we have coming up. But we are always looking for nonprofit partners, business partners. Individuals have been so generous in our community to help underwrite the films that we bring to Park City Film because they want these stories to be told. As a small nonprofit organization, we certainly rely heavily on grants, on memberships. Ticket sales, of course, are important, but we really want to make sure that the stories that are important to be told get told. And so that relies in many ways on our sponsors, on our underwriters to say, we want to make sure this happens and let's give you the financial resources to make sure that that's true. So if you go to our website, you can go to the sponsor tab. You can certainly reach out to me at director@parkcityfilm.org. We're always happy to have that conversation. It's been fantastic to see, particularly in the last 3 years, how many partners have stepped forward to make sure that we not only continue to exist, but continue to thrive. And it's really through those partnerships that that's been possible.
Which is so incredible, and it's such a cool testament to our community and to see how everyone can come together. Now, you mentioned memberships. Let's talk a little bit about that.
So memberships are the lifeblood of any nonprofit organization, and I dare say that we have the best members, of course, of any organization in Park City. But no, it's a great group of film lovers. We have special events for our members throughout the year. Of course, you get discounted tickets to our film screenings, but really it's about the joy of supporting independent cinema in Park City. We're the only nonprofit art house cinema in Summit County, and we have been for the past 28 years. And we're showing films that most commercial movie theaters are not going to show, right? And particularly after COVID, a lot of movie theaters have had to close down, smaller movie theaters. And so we're left with these big chains, which is fine, but they tend to show big blockbuster movies and not small films, not films about Emily Bronte, not films about the disability rights movement, films that are, interesting films from France or Spain or different parts of the world, that those kind of smaller art house gems, films that will often come through the Sundance Film Festival or other major film festivals, don't make enough money to warrant the attention of a big commercial chain. And so if you want to see these films outside of a festival, it's really important that you support your local art house cinema. And for us in Summit County, that's Park City Film. So, it's critically important that we have members and certainly donors. But members are just, there's that kind of familiarity, that community. It becomes a family. It's a little bit of a different relationship than someone that just, decides to support you one time, which of course we still appreciate, don't get me wrong. But that idea that we can get together and we have the ability to reach out to them and create that community of cinema lovers and create events around film where we can all get together and collectively experience these films together, but then digest them and talk about them and commune and just create different touch points within our community here in Park City. It's small, but to create that level of connection is still, so important and something that really needs to be cultivated over time.
And I feel like you guys are the best people to cultivate that, especially there in that wonderful community. Now, you guys also have some volunteer opportunities. So maybe if people aren't ready to make the commitment for the membership, but they are ready to start getting involved here and there, they can volunteer with you guys.
Yes, absolutely. And volunteering is absolutely critical as well. So yes, if you have, time on your hands, more time than resources, or perhaps just, extra time that you would like to spend helping to support Park City Film, we will teach you how to make popcorn. So that's a life skill that everyone needs to have. But if you go to our website at parkcityfilm.org and click on the volunteer tab, you can see our schedule of upcoming films. Shifts are about 90 minutes long, so not a huge time commitment. And then, of course, you get to stay and watch the film, get an extra film ticket so you can bring some friends or come back later and see another film with us. But of course, we want you to experience these films and have that joy. You're not behind the scenes cleaning up the popcorn while everyone else is enjoying the movie. You're in the theater seats. It's just getting everyone into the theater is what we need help with. And our volunteers are enormously helpful and, just create that atmosphere of community that is so important to Park City Film, particularly as we live in a small town, that you want to see people that and just connect in a different way with our operational side of things.
Which is such a unique opportunity, and especially the popcorn making skill, which is a skill, you're right, everyone needs. And people get to enjoy and witness the BYOB, Bring Your Own Bowl.
Yes, absolutely. So the popcorn bowl, we are quite famous for our popcorn bar. If you have not had fresh butter, melted butter on your popcorn with a little Parmesan cheese, maybe a little hot sauce, nutritional yeast, we don't judge. But lots of different options. We have about 30 different toppings to choose from. And it's great to see people just sharing tips and peeking over at someone else's bowl. Like, oh, what's that? Okay, I'm going to try that one. And of course, free refills. So if you maybe do a little experiment that doesn't turn out the way you'd hoped, you can just start again. Or if you get to the bottom of your bowl and you're like, I'm going to try something new this round, go for it. We're absolutely encourage that. So yeah, no, it's a lot of fun. If you bring your own bowl, of course, not only do you get a discount on your popcorn, but you lighten your footprint on the environment, which, we're always appreciative of and looking to support here in our community.
Well, and then you can do the salty to start and then switch it up and get some sweet to finish.
Exactly. Dessert first or last. Again, we don't judge. We don't judge.
It's true. That's a valid point. I didn't think about that one. Katie, if people are interested in buying tickets for this weekend showing of Emily, the best place to do so is online or at the doors?
So you can do either, actually. We can do parkcityfilm.org if you want to get your tickets in advance. Always welcome to do that. We have a very large theater, 450 seats. So if you just are spontaneous in your weekend plans and decide at the last minute, spur of the moment, that you want to come see Emily, you've got a group of friends and you want to come on over, the box office opens an hour before the posted showtime, which is Friday and Saturday at 7, and then again Sunday at 6. We'd be happy to have you come join us. We'll sell you a ticket at the box office. Absolutely no problem. And then Crip Camp next week is a free screening. So you can register in advance if you like, or again, just show up and we'd be happy to accommodate you. And don't forget your bowl. We do have bowls on site. People do ask about that. Like, what if I forgot my bowl? And you're like, it's okay. We've got you covered. But if you do have your bowl, there is a little bit of a, status kind of thing going on here at Park City Film. So, make sure you bring a nice bowl because people will kind of, look, see what you've got.
People are going to be checking out your bowls for sure at Park City Film. Katie, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us and giving us all this great information.
Thanks for having me. See you this week at the movies.
Make sure that you check out parkcityfilm.org. That way you can buy your tickets. You can see all of the other wonderful events that they have coming up. We're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we've got more of the show, so stay tuned. Do you love art and friendly competition? Well, then you're not going to want to miss MTV News series, The Exhibit, and we've got Damati and Melissa joining us. Thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us.
Thanks for having us.
So can you guys tell us about your roles really quickly on the show, just so people know, because you guys both have very extensive titles and you both have very impressive careers.
Oh, well, thank you for saying that. I'm a correspondent at MTV News, and I'm just the host. I'm there to learn about this art world. I have a humble collection. I have a serious interest in art, but I get a chance to just lead us through this competition, navigate this competition at 7 artists over 6 weeks competing for $100,000 and an exhibit at the Hirshhorn Museum. And I follow my lead judge, Melissa Chu, as they have crit sessions determining which work of the week was the most compelling.
Now, Melissa, you have a very extensive art background, and so what's it like being on this competition?
So I'm director of the Hirshhorn Museum and Sculpture Garden, part of the Smithsonian Institution, and we are right on the National Mall. We are the National Museum of Modern Art, and so our real mission is to share the art and artists of our time. And so in this collaboration with MTV, we were so excited because we selected 7 artists from around the country, all making completely different work in different materials and media. And we then invited them to create works different themes each week. And we called those commissions. And so one of the tough roles was as lead judge, and I was joined by many other judges from around the country. We really looked to this idea of originality, kind of execution, how an artist kind of makes what materials they choose, how they make their idea into a work of art. And I think that's the really interesting thing about this moment in time. An artwork is more about the idea than even the medium or the material. And so that's really what the show tackles. It's like, how do we think about creativity today? In some ways, it offers us a behind the scenes look at how 7 artists create works. In a way, an artist creates an artwork out of nothing. And that, we talk a lot about that as a courageous act, to put your idea out there into the world and then have other people talk about it. Like, that can be a hard, tough thing. But we tried really with the show for it to be both collegial and also build an artist community. These are 6 artists who stayed together, or 7 artists who stayed together for the 6 episodes and made work each week. And it was something that, really shows you a glimpse of how art is made today.
Now, if you had to describe the show, both of you, in 3 words, what 3 words would you choose?
100,000.
And now, if people are interested in watching the show, where can they find it?
On MTV Friday nights, premieres March 3rd, Friday at 9 p.m., and on the Smithsonian Channel on Tuesday, March 7th at 9 p.m.
Thank you guys both so much for taking the time to chat with us, giving us all this great information, and thank you for the entertainment. This is such a great way to learn so much about the art, but also have that entertainment factor, and so it's going to be really cool to see this premiere.
Oh, can't wait for you to see it. Thank you for the time.
Make sure that you check out MTV and the Smithsonian. That way you can see these 7 diverse artists compete for $100,000 and the exhibit of a lifetime. This is going to be a great way to get involved in the arts and just see all of the action. We're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we've got more of the show, so stay tuned.
This resort report is brought to you by Sun & Ski Sports, your new mountain sports headquarters.
We want to thank you so much for tuning into your Friday edition of Wasatch Weekends. We love getting to be here every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday starting at 7 a.m. Wasatch Weekend is a show dedicated to you guys, where we help you know what's taking place here in our community so that you can get out and enjoy all of the fun activities that we have happening. So make sure that you tune in tomorrow. We'll be here at 7 a.m. and we love to bring you as much information as possible. And there's a very cute furry friend joining us at some point this weekend from Nuzzles & Co. So make sure that you stay tuned, and make sure that you go to parkcityfilm.org. That way you can buy your tickets for this week's showing, or this weekend showing, I should say, of Emily. A great story. If you like Wuthering Heights, well, then you're going to love to see where it came from. We'll see you tomorrow morning.